Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Bill Jordan here again with Art with Bill. Like I said before, if you're a painter, sculptor, candlestick maker, this is the place to be. Why? Because people buy from people they know. And what better way for them to know you than through a candid reading interview? Today we have a man with us I consider a quintessential man. He's a Renaissance type guy, all the way from California, Ronald Croce. Hey, Ron, how you doing today?
Excellent, Bill, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
So Ron, we spoke a little bit about what you do in your studio and things like that. But again, let's take a slower pace and let's go back from, you were born in Chicago, is that right?
Yeah, Chicago, Illinois, 1945.
Okay, so that makes you a baby boomer, right?
Exactly.
So you lived there for a while. Your parents were from Italy, is that correct?
Yes, my father's from Genoa and my mother's from Campania, a little hillside town right outside of Naples.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. It's nice to. I've been to Italy. I like Italy. It's a nice.
Oh man, I love it there. I go there all the time. I've been to my mom's house and everything. And my wife is Roman also, so her whole family is in Rome.
Okay, that's nice. It keeps the tradition together.
That sure does. They treat me like a rock star over there, but it's only because I'm, get a little free ride because of her.
Why? Because you're an American?
Well, they love Americans for starters. But my wife grew up there, and she knows all the cousins and aunts and everything. And so, because we're married, they love her. So plus, Bill, I don't speak Italian, so I can't stick my foot in my mouth too often.
Right. That's a good thing. And so now you left Chicago and went to Torrance. Not Torrance. Where'd you go? You moved to?
No, we moved to San Mateo, and I lived in that area for 30 years.
Okay, San Mateo. And where's that near? That's near.
That is 20 miles south of San Francisco.
Okay, right. And so now, again, tell us again, how did you get into the art world? I know at 17 you got started because you saw a Dali book.
Right, and then my friend Chris Blum got me started in commercial art, and then he also knew somebody in Los Angeles named Richard Taylor, who's been a great friend of mine, and he started me on Star Trek, the movie. And before that, I hardly knew anything about commercial art.
Whoa, wait, stop. How did you get into Star Trek? That's one of my favorite shows. How did you do that?
Oh, okay. My friend Chris Blum, our mutual friend Richard Taylor, he called him up and said, Richard, hire this guy in your art department. He's kind of raw and doesn't really know how to do this type of art, but just give him a chance, okay? So I came down, Richard was there, and he got me started. And I'll tell you a quick little story. He put me in a room with a man named Dave Negron, who's one of the great illustrators in feature film design. So I'm sitting there with David, and we're in this room all by ourselves, and man, I'm scared because I want this job, and I didn't even know the nomenclature to talk about film work. So the boss comes in, Bob Abel, and he goes, Ron, I want you to draw me a concept picture for the bank, and it's the Star Trek ship, the Enterprise, coming around the sun. We want to show them what we're going to do because that's, where they get the money. Right. Holy cow. So I'm sitting there, he leaves, my palms are sweating, I'm frightened. How do I do this? And Dave is sitting there and he looks at me, he's got a Mexican accent. He goes, Ron, you don't know what you're doing, do you? And I said, no, David, can you help me with this? He said, sure. And I spent 9 months in a room with a private tutor showing me how to design feature films.
Whoa, man.
Probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
Yes.
So that's how I got started on the film business, and we joined the union, the International Alliance of Theatrical Workers, and from then on, I was a film designer as well as a book illustrator, and I sold fine art. But Bill, let me tell you one story, okay?
Yes, go ahead.
About 20 years after Dave showed me how to do that and stuff, I was working with a guy who didn't know what he was doing. So I turned to him and I thought, hey, I'll be just like Dave. And I'll say, hey, you don't know what you're doing, do you? This guy turned around with the fiercest look on his face and said, hey, F you, you artists think you're so damn smart, don't you?
Whoa.
I was amazed. I thought, gee, that didn't work out like I thought it was going to be.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
Well, that's the way it goes. It is, as I say, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you get ham and bacon, other times you get nothing shaken. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So now you're into Star Trek. And by the way, did you meet Kirk or anybody?
Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
No, because the artist has to go on the set and sketch the people, and yeah, every single person I knew.
Oh,
now,
man.
let me clarify that. They don't come over to the Paramount studio and say, hey, Ron, nice meeting you, or anything like that. It's just like, hey, we shake hands, and it's good to see you, and that's it.
Oh, but that's nice. You met Sue, you met who, all those people, huh?
Everybody.
Man, what a job. I mean, did they pay you for that job?
Oh, that's one of the things. Now I'm retired, but that business is wonderful. Every Thursday before 4 o'clock, the beautiful secretary with the cashmere sweater comes in and puts a fat check on my desk.
Wow.
Yes.
Man. And so,
that's what our union's about.
How many years were you with the Star Trek?
Oh, well, that was only a 9-month job. That was the first feature movie.
Oh, the feature movie. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And so what happened after that? I mean, how does a guy like you transition from one story to another, like in terms of job?
Oh, well, this is how you do it. Now we're in the union. There's 165 guys in that union. There's more now, but then. And you put your name on the available list. You're available, and production designers and producers and directors, whoever it is looking for an artist, calls you up, and you go in there. Usually there's a couple other guys. They check your work and see if it's copacetic with what they're doing. And you go from one movie to another, which is one of the things I would have never done as a fine artist, because fine artists get stuck in niches where they constantly do the same thing. But in the film business, one day it's Gladiator, the next day it's Al Capone, and after that it's a love story. So you're constantly challenged with coming up with new creative designs and concepts. That's the whole thing. And so, like I just showed you, that's my training. You saw a surfer done in the Korean temple design, and then you saw landscape with big clouds in the great Northwest. I like to do everything, not get stuck in one thing.
So how did you, I mean, your style is very, it has flow to it, has energy to it. How did you cultivate this style? Is that part of the job situation or just?
Yes, it is, Bill. My style is based on using magic markers. They're loose and rough, and when you're working in the film business, every morning the guys come in, they go, Ron, you've got 8 hours to do X, Y, and Z. We're making a presentation tomorrow, get on it. And I used to have, like when I did storyboards, I'd have a little alarm clock on my desk, and every 20 minutes it would ding. And that 20 minutes I had to do 3 panels of drawings. And that's the only way I could keep up with the the pace of the thing, because you're there to get your job done, and they want to kick you out, because when it's cost millions of dollars, they can't be having people just hanging around working slow. You got to work fast. That is not to say that the art department was a grind. Every one of these studios, MGM, Sony, Paramount, Warner's, all of them, the art departments are like high school. Guys are screwing around constantly, dumping waste paper baskets on you when you're in the bathroom. I mean, all kinds of stuff goes on.
Okay.
But you still have to maintain the pace.
Sounds like fun. Okay, so you left Star Trek, and what was the next one you went to after that?
Bill, that was 27 years ago. I'd have to have a resume in front of me.
Okay, well,
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I know you did some other things. You did some Disney work. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Okay, the most fun job I ever had was 10 months on Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas. Every day, all you did was laugh at gags. And I was the prop designer there. And there's tremendous amount of props in that show. And then the most adventure I ever had was Farewell to the King, directed by John Milius. I spent a couple months in Borneo.
What? Wait. They flew you to Borneo?
Yeah. Oh, no. Illustrators get flown to different places. And because you're right there and you want to draw, a Nick Nolte, I had to sketch him in action, and Jerry Lopez, and then, hanging out with Milius. And no, Borneo was amazing. It was like, I would tell we had our own driver, and on the weekend we'd say, hey, take us to where no white man has ever gone. And these guys took us to some unreal places. For example, I see a little stand on the side of the road in the jungle. Hey, let's pull over. Let's see what that is. We pull over just as a lady walks up, and she says something in Balinese, and the guy pulls out from under the table a couple of screaming bats, lops off their heads, feet, and wings, puts them in a newspaper, rolls them up, and she takes them home to cook.
Wow, man.
I mean, I'm telling you, we had some adventures on that show.
So now, when you went there to do these sets, I mean, like, how many sets were there? I mean, how big were they? How did you organize that?
Oh, well, it's not only sets on that particular job. Now, all these different jobs have different methods, requirements, I mean. But that particular job, there was storyboards for the action sequences. And then there was also what they call key frames in a storyboard. So you might have 20 3x5 sketches showing a guy running with somebody chasing him with a gun and where he goes so the director can follow the action. But then you'll have a key frame where the main character in that frame is, for instance, standing in, well, you picture it, Clint Eastwood standing in front of a setting sun with his gun out. That's a key frame. And so I did storyboards and keyframes.
Wow. Okay. So now, they fly you over there. You work in the day. You party at night. What a life, huh?
Oh my God, it was fantastic. And check this out. I'll never probably have this good fortune again, but they gave me the plane ticket, and my next door neighbor was a stewardess. And so she said, "Where are you going? Let me see your tickets." So I showed it to her, and she goes, "My God, do you know what this is? This is the Rolls Royce of plane tickets."
Really?
Yeah. And I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, it's Garuda Airlines, extra first class, $4,000 each way." Whoa. Which was really a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Bill, when I timidly asked the stewardess, "Could I please have a bag of nuts?" she brought out a bowl of cashews and prawns.
Oh.
And I counted 64 square feet to myself on that plane. I just kicked back, and when I got to Borneo, well, first he went to Singapore. That was 12 solid hours in a plane. I felt as good as when I got on.
Oh, man, that's you living in style.
Oh, man, and then coming back, it was just like the cattle car. But going there was wonderful.
Well, now, let's tie that experience into your latest book. What's the name of your latest book again?
It's the Illustrated Atlas of Surfing History.
Okay, so now, did you do any surfing while you were at these exotic locations?
Not in Borneo. See, Borneo is an island that's surrounded by Japan and these different places. Swells hardly ever get in there. So no, I did not surf there. But I was also on Farewell to the King in Hawaii, where they had the whaleboat get wrecked and different things like that. So, I surfed there, but I lived there too. So there was no change.
Well, now let's talk about, how did you get into the surfing? When did that happen?
Okay, that happened in 1962. I was 16 years old, and my friends, see, I had a middle-class background, but my friends, the high school I went to, were very wealthy families went there, just the way the district was put together. So anyway, one of my friends, Lynn Yapel, he says, "Hey, you want to go to the Monterey Jazz Festival with my parents and me?" So yeah, let's do that. So they take me, and it was so different from my little middle-class house with my Italian immigrant parents who were very simple and smart. But they had a beautiful beach house right on the cliffs with weather vanes of whales, and the place was gray, and it was like a cottage with white trim. And I thought, oh my God, people live like this.
Yes.
So, yeah. So Lynn tells me, he goes, "Hey, you want to go surfing?" I didn't know what he was talking about, but yeah, we went down to the beach, and I was so intimidated by how cool these surfers were. And they all had far out hair and hot chicks in bikinis, and I'm just like this kid, I'm like, oh man. So Lynn tells me, and the swell was really big that day. So he tells me, let's go out. So we get on the board, they show me how to wax it, we go out there. And then we're sitting there, and I'm going up and down on these swells. I'm thinking, man, I've never been here before. And all of a sudden, I see everybody paddling madly for the horizon, and I'm just sitting there on this big, long wooden board. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And this guy with long hippie type hair and a psychedelic board. He goes, "Hey man, hey, you better paddle, man." And I looked, okay, I start following them. Anyway, a big wave, I'd say it was a good 10 feet, came right at me. And it just picked me up and I slid down the face of it on my stomach, holding on for dear life. I rode it all the way on my stomach to the shore. This was a big wave, especially for a beginner.
Right.
I didn't want to go out again. I thought, I'll get killed if I do that. But I sat there on the beach and I thought to myself, man, now I'm one of them. It changed my life right there. Okay. And I have been a surfer for almost 60 years.
Wow. Are you still surfing now?
Yes, I have a hard time popping up to my feet. So as an alternative, you know, I do boogie boarding and stand-up paddle boarding, and I spearfish too. So I'm in the water a lot.
Oh, right. You look like you're in good shape. That's what I was asking.
I'm taking it all the way if I can. Thanks.
Yeah. So now you started surfing at 16. You're doing the art thing. You're globing around the world. Let's get into the romantic side. I mean, when did you meet your main squeeze? How did that happen?
Oh, well, I've had 3 wives, Bill. Really? I have 3 wives. Oh, yeah. Surfing has its downside, and the beach lifestyle, my first wife couldn't stand it, so she left. And I also have 3 children, which I raised. Then I got married again, and that's where the beach lifestyle really got screwed up. I was married for 14 years, but, you know, you hang around the Kaiser Bowl in Hawaii, and you get in trouble, man. It's just the way it is.
Now, wait, for those people who don't know, what's the Kaiser Bowl?
Okay. Kaiser's is called Kaiser's. It's in Waikiki because there was a Kaiser Permanente hospital right there on the beach at one time. So they ended up calling the break in front of it the Kaiser's. The reason they call it the Kaiser Bowl is because the wave forms a very round end part, which is almost like surfing through a skateboard bowl. So they call it the Kaiser Bowl. But the Kaiser Bowl is filled, the whole thing, Ala Moana, Waikiki, there's everything there. Beer, drugs, hard stuff, women, crime. I mean, you name it. It's super interesting. And if John Steinbeck were to be in Hawaii, instead of Tortilla Flat, he would write his story about Kaiser's because it goes back and it's the surfer's surf spot. Everybody's been there. Yes,
right. So now tell me what about, I heard when I was in Hawaii, I lived there for a couple of years, there were no houses on Diamond Head. Has that changed?
Well, on the beach side of the street, there's all mansions, really pricey, millions of dollars going up the hill. There's probably about 50 of them. But on the other side of the road, no, it's just steep cliffs. There are no homes on Diamond Head.
Right. Okay. And so we're back to the Kaiser Bowl, and that was that sort of like ended the second marriage. And how did you get back into your current situation? What happened there?
Oh, well, I was single for about 7 years, and I just, just dated lots of women, did all kinds of stuff, still surfed, still was a professional artist. And then I met my wife, Michelle, through my brother. And so we've been married for 13 or 14 years.
Wow, that's great. And so now I know that there are different types of, like, the North Shore has its powerful surfing in the wintertime. Have you surfed the North Shore?
Oh, all the time. I never was an A-team surfer. Let me clarify that. And I would get the leftovers. But I loved it. I'd surf all the time. And I'm just not that, just like as an artist, I'm not that great at it. I just love it and do it to use my creative talents as much as I can.
Well, you're a very modest man because, generally there's a notion of the starving artist, and you're not a starving artist.
No, I've never been starving even for 1 minute.
Yes. Could you share some insight about that? Because a lot of people, a lot of artists in particular, are fighting through that particular paradigm.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, you never know what's going to capture the public's imagination. I have seen the simplest kind of art, people just raving about it and paying fortunes for it. I think the best example is Jackson Pollock. His art is something like spin art at the carnival. It's just, there's no drawing involved or figures or landscape or anything. It's just his most famous pieces are just drips. So who would have ever thought that drips would become so famous and a household word? But like I said, you never know what people are going to like. So I like landscapes and figures and architecture and fantasy and imagination because I'm a trained illustrator from the film and book business. That's what we do.
And so now I see that you're what I would call a romantic. How does that, could you explain your mindset? I mean, it wasn't like you were being raised in the south side of Chicago. You were in California, but you were still romantic. You still are romantic. How
did you define that word, romantic?
Well, look at your work. You know, you do these romantic scenes. They're not like, buildings in the city. They're people in the water. They're mountain scenes. They're outside having fun.
Ah, well, Bill, that's what I'm popular for, but I also have another side, and that side is my series, What Our Children See. Also, Beach Fights, which was published in Surfer's Journal, the most prestigious surf magazine there is, all about the fights and rip-offs at the beach. And I have my series, Count Dracula Comes to Modern Society, or The Crucifixion of Jesus. These things I never show anybody because I've tried on Facebook a couple times, and man, the attacks I get are unbelievable. So I show the happy scenes.
Well, let's get into that. There's a guy on YouTube and Facebook. His name is Grant Cardone, and he says, if you don't have any haters, man, you're not in the game. So yeah,
Well, I got plenty of haters. All I have to do is open my mouth on occasion. But I'll tell you something. I like to do things that bring beauty to a person's vision. Now, when I say beauty, I don't mean pretty. When I say beauty, it could be a convict with a rat running across his leg in a Louisiana prison cell. If you do it beautiful, that's the main thing.
Right. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah. And I love landscapes with beautiful breaking waves, pretty girls and surfers, and that's what I'm known for, and I like to do that. But I can do anything because I've been trained to, my series, the El Salvadorian Murders. I showed a couple of those, and people are just, Well, you can't show stuff on Facebook.
Well, okay, but see, now you're piquing my interest. You're talking about the Salvadorian murders, the Jesus Christ story. I mean, what was the pushback on that? I don't quite get it. It's graphic.
Okay, it's real nice. Like, for instance, like about a year and a half ago, 150 Mexican prisoners die in a fire and are burned to death in Mexico City.
Yes.
Right there, I had to paint that picture. And I thought I'd post it, and everybody is angry about it. And so I need to make money. So I sell my good looking stuff, and I just keep my other stuff for myself. And so I show it, but I show it, Bill, but it creates so much animosity. Like, for example, beach fights. 15 illustrations, small ones, with descriptions of fights I've seen at the beach where there was criteria. You're not yelling at each other. People have to exchange blows. Blood has to be drawn. And so I post those on California Surfing Memories. The hate mail I got was off the charts. One picture, I'd have 60 people complaining. So Facebook is a big part of my business. I only show what I like to show here. And exactly, the history of illustrated Alice of Surfing. I didn't show all the violence that occurred in pre-contact. In fact, what I gave you, I didn't even have the beach fights of Picoy.
Oh, okay. So in other words, you gave us the middle of the road version.
Yeah, well, not more than middle of the road, just a general, I just don't show everything I do because it's not always everybody's business anyway.
Well, that's true, but I would say, okay, well, that's leads me to this question here. How do you see your mission as an artist?
My mission as an artist, yes, is to bring joy and beauty to people and to show historical subject matters that people have not seen before. and also to express my feelings about the world around me in terms of pictures.
Right. And so now...
Oh, wait a minute, Bill, there's one more important mission. Get
that?
money for all this.
Right. Okay. So that's what I was getting at. So see that this is, your equation is like this. You do your work for a purpose, and at the end you get paid.
Right. Because if I'm not paid, nobody's looking. That means nobody cares, and that's not the way I am.
Right. So in other words, the fact of it is, for people who are listening, that when you get paid, that means you have attention, you're popular.
Right.
So how did you establish your popularity?
Oh, okay. Well, in my commercial arts career, it was by getting agents and being in the union for film work. So that's how people show me around. And then in galleries, people show your artwork to those that come in. And then in my book publications, I don't know if I said this one is my 19th, the publishers do the job of your popularity. Plus, I'm on Facebook every day, and I have 80,000 possible viewers. So, you know, of those 80,000, at least 100 respond per day. Okay, so
let's take your Facebook platform. Is it global? Is it domestic, regional? How is that situated?
No, it's global. I try to stay away from certain places where I can see somebody wants to be friends and they're 16 years old and they're from Brazil or something, which I know somebody that's that far away and that young is not going to give me any return. So I don't make friends with them. But anybody that I see that has, like, you know, 500 mutual friends and they surf and or they're in a surfing business or whatever, yeah, I friend them and they friend me back.
So basically you're targeting surf people.
Right. Yes. You can see why, because who else would buy a book like this?
Exactly. I was just clarifying for the people who had put it together. Yes, that's true. And I know you mentioned before that your audience is, that you have people in Europe, you have people in Asia. What are those particular countries or geographical?
Okay, I have a collector in Bali.
Okay.
I have collectors in Japan. I have collectors in France, Italy, England, New Zealand, and Australia.
Wow. So you're international.
Yeah, absolutely. And Normandy. I'm sorry, and Scotland and Ireland.
So now, how do you go about developing your Facebook presence? How do you do that?
Well, I'm not very good at it, actually. I know there's a lot more I could do, but I can't sit there in front of a computer forever. So, you know, I have a limit to what I can do. But, you know, I join groups that have thousands of people in it. For example, California Surfing Memories. It has 7,000 or 8,000 viewers. So I post a picture on there, and I have a possible 7,000 or 8,000 people that are going to look that day.
Okay, and then they make.
And then there's other ones too. There's Wahine Surfers. There's 6,000 people on that, and there's California Surf. Oh, I said that. And then there's Surf Art and Wooden Surfboards, a couple thousand there, and so these different groups have thousands of people in them, and that's my audience on Facebook.
Do you have other platforms?
Not really. Facebook alone takes so much time. It's one of the reasons I retired from this illustrators union is after it became completely computerized, I just can't sit in front of a computer for 10, 12 hours a day.
Right. It's not your style. Now, you mentioned a title of a magazine or a group, the Wahine Surfers. What is that one?
Yeah, Wahine Surf Club. That's a Facebook club.
And, what does Wahine mean for those?
Wahine is the Hawaiian word for woman.
So, all right. So the Wahinis are there. The Wahine. So
yeah. It's based on female surfers. That's their biggest audience. But since I love to draw beautiful women surfing, I fit right in.
Yes, of course. And they love to be photographed and painted, right?
Yeah.
Is that all part of the surfing lure?
Is what?
Well, you know, you're the artist. You're gonna draw them and you're gonna surf. You know.
Oh, yeah, that could be, and that's where a guy gets into a lot of trouble.
Yes, right,
you know,
right.
I'll tell you a little short story. My business partner in Hawaii, he used to tell women, "Can I draw your hands?" for modeling, and that's how he get to meet women.
Yes.
Because if you say your face, they're going to say no. If you say your hands for an ad for, holding a glass, they're going to say yes.
Oh yeah, that's like Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski was in a movie. He says, well, he started with the hands, but he ended up with a total full-blown nude.
You got to do something. But anyways, no, I'm good about all that, and I don't take advantage of my artistic abilities in that way.
Okay, so now you're surfing. You're surfing Oahu. What about your surfing experiences in the Big Island?
Well, the Big Island doesn't have a whole lot of surf, and when I'm there, this is my daily routine there. We have kind of a large property there. It's about an acre, and the house is big. And I spend 3 hours a day working on the property, and it's great for my health. Cutting trees, cutting branches, hauling wood, whatever it takes, because it's a garden. It's taken me 7 years to get it to where it is now. It's a beautiful garden. In fact, we had some biologists there a few weeks ago, and they said it's a vacation rental when we're not there. They said that they spent hours in the garden studying all the things that I had done.
Really? What did you put in there?
Well, we have 300 bromeliads of all the different kinds, and there are papaya trees, mango trees, trees I don't even know the names of that I've just, autograph trees, everything tropical. I don't even know the names of everything. Kukui nut trees. It's beautiful. You go on the site, VRBO, number 388-365. No, that was wrong. Number 388-335.
What site is that now? What's that?
That's VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for sharing.
VRBO 388-335.
Okay, and that gives us the information about what you have in your house there.
Oh, yeah. And so I spent about 3 hours doing that. And then we have our own beach. So after that, I go for a swim. And sometimes it's my own little invention. It's called underwater plein air painting.
What's that? That sounds interesting.
I'm going to tell you. I should have sent you some pictures.
Yeah.
But, I'll set up my paints on the beach. Then I'll go out with my mask and snorkel, and I'll find a place that I can really study fish. And to really study them, you may see a bunch of brown tangs, but you can't. How many stripes were on their tail? 2 whites and a black, and then by their head was 2 whites and no black. You look at them and you go, I'm going to memorize that. Then go right back up on the beach, towel off, and paint what I saw.
Oh, okay.
From memory. It's a kind of underwater plein air painting.
Yes, right. And you have a lot of those that you've done?
I've done maybe 25, something like that. But nobody's buying them, so that's got to be part of it. Oh, so right. After I go for my swim, then there's chores to do, and our house is completely green. We get our water from the sky, we have solar, and we have to dump our own garbage, and all of that, and that takes a little bit of time too.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, and then I don't want to forget, I go out and I paint for about 3 hours a day also, so that's a whole day for me. Yeah,
and then at night you just chill out and watch TV, or what do you do?
Oh, well, at night, we watch the sun go down, because from our lanai, it's every night, night after night, stunning. Then after that, I have a studio, and I'll work on a painting for a little bit, and, that's my whole day. I watch some TV, too, and work on the Facebook, and, yeah.
Well, now, the Big Island, Hawaii, I mean, that's the Big Island, and I know that has a lot of myths to it. What are some of the major myths over there?
The major myths of the Big Island, I got to remember that the Big Island is the biggest Connecticut and Rhode Island put together, so it's pretty big.
Wow.
But I don't want to get into Hawaiian history with you, Bill, because I may say the wrong thing, and I'll be corrected profusely on this. But I will say that Pele is the goddess of the volcano, just what I showed you here.
Yes.
And there is not a lot of myths about gods, although I do go into in my book, I do have a section on surfing and religion. And one of the things that in surfing that they said was, when the surf got too big, the gods would surf.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't know a lot of myths. I mean, there's a few, but the thing is, Bill, that the Hawaiians were almost totally wiped out by diseases, as well as everybody from the North Pole to the South Pole after the Columbus came. And so many of their stories and myths died out with them. And I don't want to be quoting any myths because I probably am inaccurate, and I will get experts, correcting me.
Okay, but I think that I just like to know, like, Madame Pele's one. You have some other people over there. I think.
Well, there's the gods Ku and Kanoa and Kanalani. But Bill, now I'm really going to fall through the ice. So we're going to stop that Hawaiian history.
Okay.
I know who surfing is.
But I'm just going to ask. There must be a surfing guy, right?
No, there is no known god of surfing. I go into that in the book, and I just have. There are surfing heiaus where they prayed for surf. I've got a picture of one, and there's the god. I've got it's a tiki surfing a giant wave while two other surfers in the foreground look on. But no, there is no god of surfing.
Well, here's a question. How did you get to Hawaii anyway?
Oh, well, being a surfer in California, Hawaii is always pummeling you, and you're wondering what's it like over there. And so I went and thought, gee, this is terrific. And then I ended up staying there and moving there. But Hawaii has a definite ceiling in terms of money making because it's really isolated. And so you have to be in California if you're in my business, because this is where all O'Neill and Quicksilver and all these places that I work with are here, and I can go, just stop right in. Just like when I was in the feature film business. If I couldn't get in the front door, I'd climb over the back fence at MGM and go to the art department that way. But that's one of the reasons why I'm successful, is I'm extremely aggressive.
Well, now we touch on the real deal. I didn't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but Ron is a very assertive individual. If he wants something, he goes and gets it. I
try. That's how I make ends meet.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make ends meet like Ron, right? Having a big house on the Big Island, having a house in Torrance. But Ron, what is that, seriously, what is that psychology? I mean, was it from your parents, your upbringing, for the art? How did it work? How did you get in?
I think that art is like a sport. It's that aggressive. And when you see somebody that does a better job than you, now I come from a commercial art background, so when I see a Dean Cornwell or a Norman Rockwell, and I see something they've done, I don't think to myself, oh, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to do it better than they did it, whatever. And there are certain guys which I will never be as good as. But that's the thing. I just love to compete.
And I bring that up because, there are millions and millions of artists. Like, say, let's take Facebook. There are people posting stuff every day, buy my art, look at my art.
Yeah, but most of them are non-artists.
What's an artist?
An artist is a person that lives for it, does it every day, makes money at it, does commissions, takes work on, lives for it. Not just like, hey, I went out and I painted this picture and I put it on Etsy and I want to sell it for $50 or something. An artist has to have an entire lifestyle based on what they're doing.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The guys who are posting for $50, $100, $200, I mean, what's your thought on that?
Well, firstly, I post stuff for $200. I got so much, I just don't want to be having it hang around. But they're perfectly free to do whatever they want to. And in fact, when I first started, my artwork was horrible. And I had people tell me, quote, I've been to the Louvre and the Vatican, and I've never seen any artwork this terrible before. And it was, yeah. And I thought, oh, that's great because I'm controversial. But actually, it was really awful, and they were telling the truth. So,
okay, so you had some natural haters, and then what was your mindset? What did you say to yourself at that point?
I said, well, at that point, I said, oh, he's just a kook, man. He doesn't know a real artist when he sees one. But, I was a kid, so we think we're all know-it-all. So, that's what that was. And, oh, by the way, can I interrupt by telling you about this painting that's showing right now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, this is from the book you see in the lower left. This is The Birth of King Arthur. We found a lot of interesting historical stuff. And this is a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, the famous English poet. And surfers have all heard about the ninth wave. And I wondered, where did that come from? And my writer, Joel Smith, the brilliant Joel Smith, found this poem called The Birth of King Arthur. And he goes on in this poem to say how Arthur body surfed the ninth wave, which was the ninth wave is a separation between the earthly plane and the spirit world. And he body surfed the flaming wave as a baby all the way to Merlin's feet. And that's how he was born. And when I read that, I thought, man, King Arthur was a body surfer. How amazing.
Right. I like that, man. And it seems like it seemed like you have 9 different little waves in there. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because he's on the 9th one.
Hey, you slick dude, man. I thought that. Nice, man. Nice. And what's the name of this piece?
This piece is called The Birth of King Arthur.
And then the image above, that's just some type of mythological glyph to indicate.
No, I don't see anything above.
No, you have the little baby type image?
That's King Arthur.
Oh, who's the person down below?
The person down below is Merlin the magician.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it.
King Arthur was a baby. He surfed the 9th wave, the wave of fire, all the way to Merlin's feet. That's how.
I got it now. I got it.
He's got his magic wand there and everything.
Right. Thanks for breaking that down for me.
Yeah.
So you say you have a writer? Someone's working with you in this project?
Oh, yeah. Joel Smith. He's a surf historian. And Joel spent the better part of a year and a half finding all this history and writing about it. But this is not a book that appeals only to surfers. We did it so that it would appeal to any student. You open the book up anywhere and you get the complete information on that page in that image. It's not something you have to start from beginning to end.
And where can I get the book?
Well, you can email me, ron@roncroci.com, and I will send you a book. You know, they're $30 each plus shipping. And you can buy one that way. Or you can go to Amazon, but you won't get a signed copy or anything.
And then I heard you were planning a book tour, is that right?
Oh, yes. Surfing Heritage and Cultural Center, the biggest surf museum in the world, is part sponsor, and then several banks are also in on this. We're designing a national tour of reproductions of the book and the artifacts that go with them. For example, we already showed this picture. It was an Ali'i, or a Hawaiian royalty, ordering a new surfboard.
Yes.
Yeah. Then after that, I have 2 pages showing how they actually made their boards. That's gambling right there. And
you want to go back to the Ali'i?
No, we don't have to. But when they show how they made their boards, they have the tools, how they made the tools, and we have the tools on display.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we show Peruvian reed craft surfing, we have one of their reed craft. When we show Indian surfing catamarans, we have one of their basic catamarans, the models, I mean.
Yes.
And we have videos and nice signage, and it's really beautiful. And it's not finished yet, but.
Well, now you have all these different artifacts. How do you take them to this big powwow, or
Well, here's how it works. We have 3 exhibits lined up in California. And then there's ones throughout the United States. We haven't done them all yet, but these museums, they pay you to bring your exhibit in. That's how you make money at it.
Okay. And what's your marketing strategy on that?
Well, Surfing Heritage and Cultural Center, also known as SHAC, they do the marketing. I help with it. You know, if I see things and stuff, I do. Mm-hmm. But right now we're putting it together, so marketing's coming.
Okay. All right. And then you have some banks lined up as well?
Yeah, they're going to give us some of the money, and we already have it, actually. But I'm not giving anybody's names out here.
Oh, no. I wasn't asking for to give anybody.
Yeah, I know. But I just want to say we have good commitment for the cost, because it costs about $100,000 to put a show together.
Right. So I was going to make a sly joke about the Surfers Bank. That's your bank, right?
Right. I wish surfers had more money to spend.
Yeah. Okay. So now have you been down under to Australia to surf?
Oh yeah, I worked on some commercials in Brisbane, Australia for a couple months, products called grape ties and apple ties. And the Gold Coast was about an hour or so from Brisbane, and we'd drive out there to surf.
What's it like there to surf?
Well, Australia has beautiful surf, clear water, breaks everywhere, and yeah, it's beautiful. Now I look at the Gold Coast pictures now, I'm amazed at how it's built up. It looks like Waikiki. Oh, this picture we're looking at here is very interesting. King Kamehameha was the first toe-in surfer. He was an expert, according to legend, at something called canoe jumping. He has a canoe paddler. He stands on the ama and he jumps off the canoe with his surfboard in his hand and stands right on it. That's how he catches his wave.
Oh, okay. Now, why is that? Why didn't he just catch the wave like other folks do?
Well, there's all kinds of ways to do things, and canoe jumping was something they did for sport.
Have you done that one?
Oh, no.
No. Okay.
Believe me, Bill, I'd get hurt.
Yeah. What? Yeah. There's a guy. What's this guy's name? Duke Kahanamoku?
Duke Kahanamoku. What about him?
Yeah. What's the information? Who is he? What's he about?
Well, Duke was in the golden renaissance of surfing, and he was an Olympic champion, swimming champion. He held the world's record for a number of years, and he was also a great surfer. Surfed the biggest known waves of his time. Was the sheriff of Honolulu. Was a movie star.
Really?
Duke was the man. Ultra handsome. He was a pure Polynesian. And he's tall, great looking, physique. He had a whole family. There was like, I think 4 brothers, the Kahanamoku brothers, and they were all excellent watermen, but Duke was the man.
Yes, I remember I saw a picture of him and I was like, what? This he looks good, man.
Oh yeah. He brought surfing to New Jersey. Because when he went to the Olympics, I guess it was the Munich Olympics, he came back and he did a world tour, and he taught surfing in New Jersey.
Oh.
And we have it illustrated in the book. He brought surfing to Australia. We have that in the book too. And he was the one that disseminated surfing around the world, basically in the 20th century.
Well, now was he famous for any particular type of board style?
No, but he used a wooden board, probably it was made of redwood, with his name Duke carved into the top of it. And everybody knows that board. Now, that's not a style, but it's the most famous, priceless board. Whoever owns it would never sell it.
Oh. And also, you're a lead illustrator on that Honolulu.
The Hawaii Maritime Center.
Yeah.
That is at the end of Bishop Street, right at the water there, and it's a 2-story building, and I was a lead designer there, and we go from the oldest Hawaiiana, all maritime situated now, not anything else, but because it's a maritime museum.
Right.
And we talk about the discovery of Hawaii by the first Hawaiians that came there, and then Captain Cook, and we have artifacts, and we show how they went fishing and canoes and all kinds of stuff.
Well, now, how did the first Hawaiians get to what we call Hawaii?
Say that again.
How did the people first get to Hawaii?
Oh, well, nobody's positive proof exactly where they came from, but it's Tahiti and the Tahitian area of the South Pacific. We don't know exactly how they came to Hawaii, but we do know that there are many ways that they could have found their way. For instance, the golden plover migrates from Alaska to the South Pacific, and every year they would see millions of these birds land in Tahiti, and they would say, well, those birds got to come from somewhere. So for whatever reason, I don't know, but they started following those bird trails. Plus, they knew about ocean currents and winds, and they knew in the summer the swell came from the south, and in the winter it came from the north, so they could tell the north from the south. And they had a lot of good fortune. Maybe one of the volcanoes was smoking, and they could see it from
yeah, right. Follow the smoke.
Yeah.
What about that legend about the Manu, the shark?
Well, What is that legend?
Oh, as I understand it, Manu was the one who led them to Hawaii, the shark.
Oh, okay. Well, like you called it a legend, I'm not sure. I've never heard that one, and I don't know how anybody would know that. But that's a good story.
That's what I'm saying. That's a legend.
It's a good story.
Okay.
So here's a picture you might be interested in, okay? This is from the section Courtship and Surfing in the Hawaiian Islands. Now, Bill, I don't want to be talking about Hawaii all the time, so that shouldn't be the focus. But this picture here is interesting because when a man and a woman, boy or girl, were interested in each other, they would go surf together, and they would wear a tapa cloth that was dyed reddish.
Oh, okay.
The picture here, they're looking at each other. She's got that happy smile, and she's wearing the proper outfit to let him know, and so is he.
Well, now let me inquire about that outfit. And if you don't feel comfortable, it's okay. But was this before or after the Christianization of Hawaii?
Oh, this was before and probably during. Now, I think the Christians are getting a really bad rap because they did not play the big part in Hawaii like people do, because the liberals and the conservatives all think that religion is bad. I mean, there's just so much of that around that I think we put that on them. But I go into this in the book, what the missionaries, by the way, the missionaries' children were the ones that brought all the money to Hawaii. They said, hell, we don't want to be any Calvinists. We want to go out and use this land. And they're the ones that started all these estates and everything. But anyway, the Hawaiians used to make out on the beach and do a bunch of stuff like that, which the missionaries did not like. And so they put a lot of pressure on them to dress and to what really put the stop on Hawaiian or any kind of development in the Polynesia was the diseases, because in 70 or 80 years 80% of the Hawaiians had died, and we go into that in the book called The Decline of Surfing, because surfing was on the decline. And Mark Twain did a big disservice because he said when he went there that the Hawaiians were really laid back and they didn't want to do the white man thing and all this. But the fact is that the Hawaiians were very industrious. They were sailing from Tahiti to Hawaii before Europeans would even get out of sight of land.
Right.
And they built with stone tools all kinds of amazing stuff. But let me finish this. My final statement on that. That's very important, this statement.
Okay.
So many people died that there was a condition among the Hawaiians, as well as American Indians, everything. They were so depressed that they just didn't feel like doing anything. That was really and Mark Twain said they were laid back, but he didn't understand they were ruined by the diseases.
Of course, a disease does that.
Okay.
Now, could you comment on this image here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is when the surf gets too big, only the gods surf. And there's one of the gods. Now, all we know about the gods is that from, tikis and stuff. And there's a couple guys watching him on a big wave.
Right. Okay. So this is like a mythological person?
No, there's no myth involved. They just said when the surf got big, the gods surfed, and there's my interpretation of it.
Okay, that's what I'm looking at. So
I don't know any specific myth or anything.
Let's go back into your illustration history. Now you've done 19 books plus, and this is one of them. What are some of the other works you've worked on? Okay,
well, not 19 plus, 19 period.
Okay.
But, yeah. Hans Christian Andersen, The Complete Stories of His, by Simon & Schuster. The 100th anniversary of the independence of the Samoan Islands, that's got a lot of illustrations. Surfer Boy, Holly Girl. I've done a bunch of religious books for Mazer Company, and like that. But this is the first one I've had so much control over.
Oh, okay. And how does that make you feel?
Well, when you have a lot of control, but you have a a group of people working together. I got the writers, the publishers, designer, all this stuff. It kind of makes me feel like I've lost some of the control that I want. But at the same time, I'm not the boss. He who has the gold rules.
Well, that's what they say.
So my publisher had a lot to say.
Yes. All right. And so I know that that's sort of hard. It's hard for go-getter guys, what I call red hots, to handle that. Right?
Oh my God, I pull my hair out complaining and stuff, but
yes. What do you mean? You can't take that out? No, I gotta have it.
Exactly, but you know, Dale Madden of Island Heritage, he's a brilliant guy, and that's the premier publishing company there, and so I trust he knows what he's doing. And what we've come out with this book is, this is what we call the consumer version. In a month or two, we're coming out with a big coffee table version, the collectors, in several languages.
What's the difference between the consumer and the collectors? Okay,
the consumers is this 11. It's 8.5 by 11 size. It's paperback. You know, it's made to fit on the rack on the shelf. But the coffee table book is like 11 by 14, and it's laid out differently, and it's different languages and stuff. We just want people to spend money on this and just buy them, you know, and we want to educate our people about it. Oh, speaking of the missionaries, see, there's a missionary lady right there telling these two surfers, hey, get your clothes on.
Right, that's the whole thing I was getting to about that other image about the couple. You know, I was taken back by the fact that she had a top on. And my thinking was she wouldn't have had a top. But,
well, we don't know, but I can't have women's breasts hanging out for our commercial publication because people get uptight about that. So, you know, maybe she only had a bottom on, but I'm not National Geographic to where I'm showing the complete reality. I'm just going, well, maybe she had a top on too, because I can't have her.
That's what I was going to, Ryan. That's all I was going to.
Yeah.
All right, so now you do the 19 books, Hans Christian Andersen, Wahini, was it Howley? What was that other one you did?
Howley Boy.
Yeah, okay, for those who don't know, what's a Howley Boy?
Well, Howley is a derogatory term used by Hawaiian locals to describe white people. But Howley was actually originally a term used to say foreigner. If you're a Haole, you're a foreigner. But now Haole is, like for instance, a Japanese person that comes to Hawaii on vacation is not a Haole, but a Caucasian person is a Haole. And it's used, and I try to not get that term used because it's derogatory, because it's usually effing Haole. And I don't really like that.
Right, it's understandable.
Yeah, and it makes it like the other, you're the other person, or, you know, I don't like that.
You're the kind, right?
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing. Having so many friends there, I tell you, it wasn't like I walked into, you know, the Kaiser Bowl and they had their arms around me. I had to spend a fortune bringing beers and food and all this stuff to get, because they know people are going to come there and surf, take their waves, and then leave. Nobody likes that.
Oh, so you had to pledge.
Oh, I had to pledge. Believe me, constantly show up day and night, bring food, bring beer, gifts, you know, and just casual, like, oh yeah, you want this? Yeah, see, I brought this for you. And
so like, is that like the game plan? Is that how you do it? I mean, I never would have thought of that. How'd you come?
Oh, okay. Here's my strategy. You go to a beach, like for instance, I used to surf Topanga Beach a lot, which is known for its violence. So the same thing for Kaisers and Ala Moana Bowls. You go there, you look at the biggest, baddest bulls on the beach, and you go make friends with them.
Right.
You know, and that's the way it is. Because if you don't do that, you see, Bill, in surfing, it's so expensive to have your own break that you go to all the time. You sacrifice money, families, everything for this compulsion. And when that perfect wave of the year comes right to you and your friends are all cheering you on, and some beginner just drops right in front of you and ruins the whole thing, yeah, you're gonna rage. And there's plenty of raging going on there. But I myself have hardly had any, just a couple, you know, words here or there.
Okay, so that's why there's this like competitive angst. Like, I want the big wave. I want the big wave to ride it, and you're gonna mess it up for me. Is that what it's like?
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you're going out to a surf spot where there's only 5 people out, everybody's going to be friends and share. But if there's 30 people for one wave, yeah, it's the most aggressive person's going to get it.
Oh, I see. Okay, I never knew it was like that. So it's very.
Oh, absolutely.
So that sort of like parallels your artistic instinct.
I fit right in.
Yes, that's good. That's good to know. And it seems like it pays off, because the aggressive people are the ones who are out there getting the attention.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, most competitive surfers are extremely aggressive. They may say they're having fun with their buddies on the beach, but when it gets to the water, they're the ones that want to win that money.
Yeah, it's like in the football game. It's like you're down by 1 point. Who are you going to give it to? I want the ball.
Yeah. So and plus you got to have the skill to go along with you.
Absolutely. Well, of course, we assume we have skill set. Okay, so now we did the 19 books. Now you worked on some other projects. You did Star Trek. You did you did some commercial designing work with Jerry's. Talk about that kind of stuff.
Let's talk about Blues Brothers.
Okay, run it.
Man, that was an amazing job. I was in Chicago. I had my whole family over there. We took the train.
Oh, yes, right. Okay.
Yeah, all my relatives and stuff we visited. I took the train over, and we had a hotel suite for ourselves, the kids and my wife and me and everything. And that was a pretty amazing show. And all them guys are famous for being coke snorters and everything. And I'm not. But you get in the elevator with the stars of the movie, and they'd be snorting up right there in the elevator, not even paying any attention to me. It was crazy.
Wow, man.
I don't know how anybody could even be an actor when you're messed up like that all the time. But some people, you can go to Charlie Parker, John Belushi, all these different guys. They have to have they've got to be. There's a certain thing that happens when you get real high and you lose your inhibitions, and they can act better.
I guess, but that was a great movie. I thought it was, it's one of the quintessential ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was very thrilled.
And what was your contribution on that?
Oh, okay. I was a set designer and a props designer and a storyboard artist. I did everything.
Okay, so now what does that mean to be a set designer? Tell me a set you designed.
Okay. When you say a set designer in the film business, what they're talking about is a person who draws a plan and elevation of how a set is built and gives it to the construction company. Okay. That is a set designer. I use that word about myself mainly just to short the understanding, because the word designer, but a concept artist. First, I figure out what camera lens is going to be used from a set, from what distance back. Then you take the set and you make the drawing. It's very technical, because if you're using a 200 millimeter lens and you're back 75 feet, what are you going to see? You have to know that lens distortion, and you have to know what's in the set. So after everybody approves, okay, that's what we want to see in this set, then they give it over to. That has to do with the lighting. You got to light it, the drawing right, and everything like that. And then you give it over to the set designers. They look at it, and then they make a plan and elevation, like a blueprint, so that somebody can build it.
Man, that's you bad dude, man. That's heavy duty stuff, man.
I don't know. I love doing it though, and I don't anymore. But it's helped me a lot in my career.
That's like rocket science, man. The lighting, the scale, and
you know that book that came out, drawing from the right or left side of the brain, where they said painting is not technical, it's inspirational. Well, I don't believe that at all. I think that real drawing and painting and drawing, for example, I mean, you got perspective and figures, and it's all got to look right. It's very intellectual. When you go and see the Sistine Chapel and you see those figures up there, you see tremendous intellectual knowledge there.
Absolutely. And what I like about your work is I can see, it's not the style, but I see how you compose it. I see your lines, and I see you're very conscious of what you're doing. So
yeah, thank you. I try to work it out, and in fact, when I sell these paintings, the people get all the drawings with them.
Oh yes, I mean that's now okay. Now, why do you do that, Ron?
Because I have thousands of drawings. I'm sick of having stacks of drawings. So now any commissions or sales that I have, I just give the whole thing. Here's the art, here's all the drawings, here's a book to go with it.
And so now what you're really saying is that you're adding value to your purchase.
Well, if you buy any from this book, you definitely have value. I mean, here you have a publication, you have a national tour, you have great sales. Yeah, absolutely. And then I give away, you buy a painting, you get a book signed and all the art that went with it to create it.
Man, where do I sign up? I want to get one.
You know me, send a check.
Right. So now we signed the books. You did the Blues Brothers, and there was another big one you did too, right?
Well, there was Star Trek, Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember all this stuff. Ghostbusters.
Planet of the Apes. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I mean,
Planet of the Apes I was the weapons designer on that. I worked on that for 4 months. And Planet of the Apes, it was really fun because I designed their swords, guns, bows and arrows, cages that they were confined to, all the kinds, not only weapons, but crops, but a lot of it was weapons. And we invented weapons too in the art department. For example, we invented the same way a sling spear works. It's got the rubber on one end, you pull it and you hold it and then you let it go. We made spears like that in the art department, which were really accurate, that we could get the apes to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that movie, another quintessential movie, man. People are still talking about Planet of the Apes, and you can see how it plays out in today's society.
Well, that's for sure. And well, I think that's the whole point. And actually, they wanted to have in Planet, on the apes, they wanted to have the numbers on their wrists, but the banks choked on that one because it looked like Jewish people, but that's what we were trying to say.
Oh, really? I never would have thought that, but yeah, I see how they could think that way. That was a great movie, I thought.
Well, there's lots of them now, and now that I'm retired, I'm sorry I can't work on any of the newest ones, because the ones that are, before it all looked like they had ape costumes on, but now it looks like they really are gorillas.
Yeah, but I mean, that movie, the whole thing about at the end where he goes and he sees that he was on Earth all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Great stuff. And so there's Planet of the Apes, and now you were the weapons designer. Now you were the head weapons designer. You had a team of guys. How did that work?
Oh no, it was just me. And then after the props department says, yeah, we like this, and everybody, the directors go, okay, let's make this and this. Then they send it off to a construction department to make it.
Also, there's a certain group of guys who make these weapons?
Yes, it's all very compartmentalized. The illustrator can only draw, okay? You can't, I'll give you an example. On Yes, Giorgio, that was Pavarotti's only movie. I was the designer on that. I walk over I'm at Warner Brothers. I walk over to the construction department, and I just wanted to hammer together something for me to use on my palette and stuff. I can't remember what it was, but what I do remember is that somebody saw me using a hammer in the construction department, reported me to the production office, and my company got fined $400.
Whoa!
Yeah, because it's compartmentalized, because they don't want, and I understand completely, I just wasn't thinking, they don't want a guy who's, doing 2x4s to come in there and start sketching. They don't want this. Everybody's got their job, and you stick with it. But that's the fact.
But let me just jump in for a second. See the image we have here now?
Yes.
Now these are Wahinis, right?
Yeah, that's from a section where a person took a cargo ship. He was a captain. He went to Hawaii, and then he went to Mexico. And actually, the book he wrote was called Los Gringos. But there's a section in Hawaii where he's talking about Hawaiians women surfing. We try to use a lot of female parts to this book because women played a huge part in surfing.
Right, but this is one of my favorite pieces out of them all. I just like their energy. I like the way they're composed. Like they're shifting, and it's nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice work. And so
that was an easy sell.
Excuse me? Huh?
That was an easy sell.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. And so now you're doing these movies, you're doing the illustrations. Oh, here's a question for you. Like, what was the biggest challenge you faced during that time? And some of the things, business-wise, artistic-wise, in that industry.
Are you talking about business-wise or artistic-wise?
Well, I mean, you were artists in that industry. So, like, what was some of the biggest, the things that make you get upset, you didn't like, you had to work harder at? What was something like that?
Well, when I was doing storyboards for Raiders of the Lost Ark, the other storyboard artists were so much better than I was. It would just keep me awake at night. And I lost sleep. I was upset all the time. I didn't really care for that because I didn't feel like I was as good as the rest of the guys. And that's really bothersome to me. Another thing that's bothersome to me in the film business is when they say, okay, Ron, you're done now. We don't need your services anymore, which means you're fired. They found somebody like better than you.
Is that what they do? Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody gets that line eventually.
Well, why would they get rid of you?
Well, because the director might have another artist in mind who's his friend, who he wants to be in there, okay? Or maybe another artist has a particular style or something that's more in tune. Or maybe another artist is faster. I mean, there's any number of reasons. Maybe they don't like the way my glasses are on.
Okay, so in other words, so that there's a political nuance involved?
Oh, very much so. Who you can talk to, you can't just bring your family and kids onto a set like Planet of the Apes. I mean, it's everything's hidden. It's paranoid, actually, in many ways. But at the same time, if you know how to work within that whole system, it's terrific.
Well, how does one work? How does one navigate that?
Okay, this is the main thing. Just keep your mouth shut. If somebody's talking about politics, I'm just like, hey, I think my mom's calling me.
Yes.
Because it starts to get around, and you know how gossip is. They'll say he did this, and pretty soon, I like some crazy person, and it's nothing. So
it's not true, right? It's just what.
Yeah. You just keep your mouth shut. That's my main, and that has been my main weakness too. I've blurted out stuff that I've gotten in a lot of trouble for.
Well, I guess when you stand up, you run the risk of getting shot down.
Yeah, and it's not worth it, because who wants to lose their job, a great piece of great artwork and a job of fun and stuff and good money, for just having, who cares about my opinion?
Right.
Nobody does it. And so.
But I guess that comes with wisdom, right? With understanding.
Oh, believe me, I blew through a lot of things. I'll give you a good example. You probably want to know. Yeah,
go ahead. Run it.
Okay. One of the most powerful women in movies. I'm not saying her name. Okay. But I interviewed for a job with her, and she said I wasn't qualified. She told my union people that. And that got me all turned on. And the union leader said, you want me to talk to her? Of course you're qualified. How can they say you're not? And so I said, I'll talk to her myself. I call her up and I tell her, hey, what do you secretaries even know about this stuff? And there's a silence, and she goes, well, I'm not a secretary. And I had never even heard of her. Anyway, she became one of the most powerful people in the film business, and I could never work for her again.
Oh.
Because I blurted out that stupid, so I don't do that anymore.
So in other words, there has to be a level of, I guess, tact or sophistication involved in these transactions.
Oh my God, absolutely. Because, as much as you love the job and you're doing it good and stuff, they still hold all the purse strings. So you got to be careful. And there's something I learned is like, who you criticize on the way up is going to get you on the way down. And that is a fact.
Well, the converse would be those who you praise on the way up will praise you on the way down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you'll notice, people who get awards and stuff for different things, they're always first to give that credit to everyone else.
Well,
Which I do too.
Speaking of awards, have you been in line for any of those industry awards?
No, they don't give awards to designers and illustrators. I mean, they have the production designer will get an award, but the other guys below them, no.
Oh, you just the grunts, right?
Yeah, we are kind of the grunts. In fact, there's a couple, there's a standing joke. This one production designer used to call us sketch boys.
Sketch boys, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's from England. He would go, sketch boy, do come here.
Oh.
So we all start calling each other that, you know.
Hey, I say, sketch boy, come here.
Precisely.
Yes. All right, so now we got these guys from England calling you sketch boys. Have you worked with any Italian people? You know, the Italian.
Yeah. Actually, on Greg Nava's film, I forgot that. I worked 9 months on that with Dante Ferretti. He was the one of the most famous production designers ever. Oh, and then if you said Italian, that's him.
Yeah, right.
And then there was another on Farewell to the King. They had the Italian production designer too. You know, Bill, I can't remember everybody's name all these years. I'm always amazed at people that can name them right off down the line, but I can't.
Well, you know, it is what it is, man. That was then. This is now. We're just chatting about the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we got now. Also, you did the Baskin Robbins and some other people, right? As far as commercial stuff or something.
Well, let's see. I designed 200 commercials, so I can't remember any of them.
Yeah. Right. So what does that mean to design?
I'll tell you one that was so much fun.
Okay.
We did a 7-Up commercial in Waikiki. And what we did was we created a 7-Up bottle that was about 3 feet high. And was on a long armature with somebody behind it steering it. So that with the animation and then the live action bottle and everything, we had this bottle surfing because the guy was out of the camera way behind it, and he was making it go up and down the waves, and then we just put the little 7-Up guy on top of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was great.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. No, those I love commercials because I don't have time to get in trouble. They're over before you know it.
Yeah. Well, so like commercial, how long would it take you to prepare a commercial like that, the 7-Up one?
Oh, okay. That one, I was a designer, and then I was also, my partner then was the location manager. So it took us about 2 weeks.
Wow.
You had to drive all around the island, find the best locations, and make the prop, design the prop, like that. There's just a lot of little details, but you know, you're on payroll for a couple of weeks, and you do whatever is necessary.
So now, a couple of times you've dropped this term partner or associate. I mean, do you form relationships with people to do your work?
Okay. Well, my partner at that time, Keith Mattingly, we had a company called World Design, and we did commercials around the world, and we designed Hawaii Maritime Museum. And I mean, I was the designer. Keith was like a production manager. He took care of the money and how we spent it, and you know, and did locations and left me to my drawing table. So
that was a good relationship?
Oh, very much so. I love Keith, and he passed away, but he was very good.
And I asked that question because there were two sides to the story. There's the artistic side and there's a business side. And most artists don't have that luxury, it seems. They try to do it all themselves.
Yeah, and I have to do a lot of it myself too, but I think that's a weakness that I have, actually, because I just can't handle everything at once.
Yeah, most people can't. So
right. So, you know, that's why I've had agents and galleries and stuff. They do a lot of it for you, but you got to pay good. It's not free.
Well, now, agent, let's talk about that. I mean, so I'm a painter, I'm an artist guy. Can I get an agent to represent me? Well,
a gallery would be an agent. Okay, for starters. You put your work in there, and they bring people in, and they go, oh, this is Bill Jordan, and here's what he does, and they tell about your history if the people are interested. They act as an agent for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an agent in commercials, like my agent that I had the longest was Famous Frames. And they do all the commercial stuff. They call you up and go, hey, Ron, we got this commercial for Brillo. And can you show up at this address to do the drawings for them? And then they set the price, you get paid. The price is good. I think it's up to $130 an hour at this point. And then they take their 25% and they pay you out of the, the production pays them and they pay you. That's how the agency works, and they promote you.
Okay. All right. That's good. I mean, it's good to know because, a lot of people want representation but don't know how to go about it other than just the galleries, because we have all the online gallery representation now.
Yeah, and online gallery representation hardly works at all because people want to hold a painting before they buy it. I mean, I sell paintings online, but that's a real tough call. But representation in a place like Famous Frames, they're the top storyboard company in the world. The competition is so intense there. Your chances, the average artist's chance of getting representation is pretty much zero.
I'm glad you brought that up because it seems like all these online galleries are just millions of people. How do you stand out? How do you get recognition?
Well, as far as online goes, like I said, I have my 80,000 Facebook viewers, and I'm constantly every day pumping into there. How did you find me, by the way?
Oh, well, we found you by looking at the Jerry's all around.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Well, anyway, yeah, I pumped Jerry's up and therefore myself, and you just have to be on top of it every time. I'm a self-promoter. That's why we're doing this.
Right. And that's what I'm getting to, because when I'm discovering it's a mindset. If you go back to the Da Vinci days or the Michelangelo days, they weren't just sitting around in their studios. They were out there, contacting people, getting commissions so they could get paid.
And they had guilds, and that's how it worked back then. You joined a guild as an apprentice, and you worked your way up. Mm-hmm. And they don't have that anymore, except for the film business. That is a union. It is a guild, and for feature films, I mean. And you start out as a junior, and you work your way up to a senior.
Right. So you'd be with that. What's the level of gradation? Is it apprentice, journeyman?
No, it's just a junior and a senior.
Okay. All right. So, we've covered a lot of information. Let's go back into. You have 3 children, right?
Yeah, Jefferson, Marina, and Paloma, all raving successes.
What do they do?
Okay. My son Jefferson, look up his name, Jeff Croce. He's one of the world's most renowned tattoo artists.
Really?
Right there, I'll say it again. But you look his work up, he is incredibly good at it. I'm not just a proud father. I mean, this guy, everybody that looks, wow, what they say. Okay, my daughter Paloma, she's my youngest daughter. She is a clothing designer in New York, and also is a feature film designer. If you saw the movie Coraline, she designed all the clothes in there and made them, manufactured.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and my middle daughter, Marina, she's a very successful mom in Texas and has a beautiful family, and I have 3 grandchildren, and everyone's happily married. And Bill, to tell you the truth, I don't know how they did so good with me as a father.
Well, they got your design skills, I guess.
Well, they're good. They're good.
Here's a question for you. You know how like your dad would tell you that story way back when they had, whatever they didn't have or they had. What was the story you tell your kids all the time?
Go out and take care of yourself. I'm just an artist. I'll never be able to be supporting you. You got to have your own way in life. Do that.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah, they've all done it. I mean, I always, because, I'm a successful artist, but I'm not the kind of guy that is, loaded with cash and spoiled kids and stuff. We have to work for everything.
Yeah, well, if you don't work, you don't get.
Yeah, well, some people get plenty without working. I mean, there's that. too.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was my good advice. And also, check this out. When my kids were about in the third grade or something, my wife and I were quarreling about television. Sometimes it gets like that. And she said, hey, if that TV is more important than me, I don't want it in the house. So I threw it away. Right. So I raised my 3 kids with no TV. And for the first month, they were kind of like, oh, whatever. But after that, they're just walking around with a book under each arm and reading. And that's why there's such brilliant kids. They didn't waste their time. Right. Now, the thing is, we took them to plenty of movies, and every friend of theirs had televisions. I mean, there's televisions everywhere. There just wasn't one in our house.
Yes, I know what you mean. It makes a huge difference.
You know, by the way, the 10 or 5 or 10 top graduate students in America, I think it was 5, 2 or 3 of them, I heard this on NPR, they're from Berkeley. They said they grew up with no TV, and they said that was the reason why they did so well, because they weren't distracted. Now, TV is more important to parents, actually, than kids.
Why do you say that?
Because they can't do without it, and it's too difficult to tell a kid, you know, hey, go watch TV for a little while. That's out. Right. The kid has to entertain themselves. Right. So it's the parents have the hardest time, and then parents want to watch TV too. So, you know, I drew at night, read the kids' stories. Oh. No thing missing, really. So how do you see the current situation with American family in the context we just talked about? Well, I have a lot of faith in the future for kids, and my own kids, my cousins, they're all brilliant and doing really well. I don't have family members that I can say, oh, that guy's a goof off, man, he's going to go downhill. There are some that aren't that, but most of the young people in our family, man, are they ever good at what they do, and go-getters and smart. So I got a lot of faith in that. You know, that's interesting, because, you know, I guess it's like, there's so many different interpretations. Some people say that that's not the case at all, that the kids are all screwed up. You know, they have, they're addicted to electronic devices, all that kind of stuff. Well, they are, yeah, that's right. And the dropout rate, it's Hispanics and Black kids in Los Angeles County, is 20%. Can you believe that many kids of that category, or whatever you call it, would be dropping out? I'm just amazed. When I was in high school, nobody would drop out. You'd be a complete reject if you got dropped out of school. Right. Now it's normal. And that part of the community is dropping out. Now, that part of the community is very important to our community. They do lots and lots of wonderful things, but at the same time, you can't drop out of school. You want to be smarter. You want to go on, but right. It's like at this point, 24% is a lot of people. 20. Oh, 20%. But boy, isn't that a lot? Yeah. Out of every 100 kids, 20 of them are going to quit in high school. That's terrible. But this is how we're making up for it, okay? Yes, I was going to say the same thing. That's all we got. We're doing what we're doing, right? Yeah, the reason is, I think, is because all of these kids coming from Asia and India are coming here, becoming citizens, becoming doctors, lawyers, inventors. It's wonderful. So our kids dropping out might be replaced by the immigrant kids who are doing so good. In fact, UCLA, I think I heard this the other day on NPR, had the most new enrollments in their history, and the majority was kids from Asia and India. Mm. Yeah, that's what's happening. The Americans don't seem to be taking advantage of college these days. We're the smartest country ever. But it's confusing, Bill. It's like they're all dropping out, but then we have this huge intellectual possibility here, and you know, I don't know how it all works. Well, you know, I guess it'll be working out in the generation after ours, but right now we're just dealing with, you know, what we got, and you know, so we did the Oreo stuff we talked about.
Anything else you want to share that we think we should get into?
You're the questioner.
Well, again, I want to thank you for coming around and sharing some of the gems of your career, because it's very rare we get insight to a person like yourself, because most artists are just saying, well, I paint all day and I sell on eBay or wherever I sell. But you're talking about a career, it's a commercial career and fine art as well.
Well, I think that the commercial artists of America are its finest artists.
Why do you say that?
Okay. Because when you look at all these sites and you see this art, it's like the people trying to sell these paintings that never sell them. It's just the lowest form of painting and drawing that there is. They never take the time to go and study how you draw figures, for one thing. I drew figures every Thursday for 10 years, and I love figure drawing.
Mm-hmm.
People are intimidated by perspective and all of these important visual things, because a painting's beautiful if it has a landscape, but then if it has a landscape with people in it, then if there's maybe some kind of building, whether it's a futuristic or a surf shack, all of the things put together is what make it really sing. And people just don't want to do that. And in commercial art, you have to do that. You have to design and know your history, and you have to know all this stuff. That's what I love about it. I'm a searcher, a dreamer, and I'm also a person that's got a high level of curiosity.
And so why do you think that we've come to a certain point in the art making process that the other ways taking, it's like it's popular? Not that it's effective, but it's prevalent.
Well, now ask me that in a different way.
Well, what I mean is, you were talking about people who don't take time to pay their dues, to get their chops up, as it were.
Right.
But yet they're posting saying, buy my XYZ for XYZ amount of money. But they're not in the same category as you are, as a professional commercial artist, but they want to get paid the same thing. Well, how does that come about?
Well, people just want to make money, and they figure out, they think something's worth a certain amount, and they're asking for it. Myself, I try to go $3.50 a square inch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's how I come up with my price.
Right. That's a fair price. That's a fair price.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about?
There's people that, and I don't know what happens to all these artists. Bill, in Los Angeles County, we've got Art Center, we've got Otis Institute of the Arts, and Cal Arts. Now they're graduating 400 people a semester, or something like that. What happens to all these people? They've spent a fortune going to these schools.
Oh man, that's a whole nother conversation, man. That's like, what does happen to them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, when you go to Art Center, their exhibits of their student body, they're just staggeringly good. And in the industrial arts at Art Center, guys that draw cars or coffee pots or whatever, they have manufacturers from Detroit or Honda or whatever waiting for them when they graduate, because they go to those schools and see what the leading edge of thought is.
That's great.
Yeah. But like Sid Mead, for instance, he was a graduate of Art Center, and he's the most famous futurist, SYDMEAD, Sid Mead. His work is jaw-dropping. And he paints what the future looks like, as well as he's a movie designer, Blade Runner and all these.
Okay.
But people waited for him right when he graduated. There was guys at the door waiting to hire him because he's so good. But what happens to all these other artists? I just wonder.
Well, that's where we are, and we see them on the various offline, online web galleries. We see them, planting their work, posting their work, and there's a proliferation of it.
Yeah, and that's good too, because if you see the movie Treasure of the Sierra Madres, starring Humphrey Bogart.
Yes.
The old miner, and it might have been Walter Brennan, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the old miner, they were asking him, well, do you think we'll find the gold? And he said, It takes 100 people to cover the hill in order for one person to find the gold. They can't do it alone.
Mm.
And then you start thinking how that applies to other things. It takes 100 artists to post for one artist to sell. But that one artist couldn't sell by himself. He has to have the proliferation in order to stand out.
Could you expand on that? I'm not quite clear on that. What do you mean by that?
Well, you have a whole movement. You have hundreds of people doing something. Oh, by the way, this picture here, this is after World War II. You see the soldier in the background.
Okay.
We go on to say, after they came back from the war, they just went crazy. And all of these surfers that are famous now, all they wanted to do was surf. Those people that survived the, the massacres.
Yes.
That's that picture right there, after the war. But, yeah, you need 100 people to cover the hill for one person to do it. That's just the way it is. There has to be, they're the foundation. The failures are actually the foundation for the success.
Or in other words, the failures are the stepping stones.
Exactly. You have to have 100 miners covering the hill for one guy to find the gold.
Wow, that's interesting concept. I like that. Very nice.
Yeah, well, you got to have thousands of cars to have the one that appeals to the person. You know how many makes and models there are.
Oh, yes. It's, back in the old days, you could tell a Ford from a Chrysler, but now you can't.
No, exactly. A Honda and a Subaru look similar.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's old school talk, but man, the days where you could tell the cars, man. Remember that Studebaker?
Oh, my dad had one, a Studebaker Hawk. We painted it flat black with gold scallops.
Yeah, man, that was a good ride. Well, let's zoom on through. We have a few more to go through. If you don't mind, can we just
bump it up?
Okay. So you have a surfboards one here.
Well, that's when the surf stores started.
All right.
Go ahead. River surfing. Now people surf tidal bores all over the world. Some of the rides are miles long. But Mad Jack, he was the first guy. He surfed the Severn tidal bore in England, and he surfed it for miles. And you see how big his board is. He invented something called the toothpick board. And Mad Jack was called Mad Jack because he led bayonet charges in World War II and even used a bow and arrow and effectively shot Germans with it.
Wow. Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
I know. He's done all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he's alive anymore, but and there's Gidget. That's our last image in the book.
Oh, Gidget.
Yeah, because the book starts in antiquity and it ends with Gidget. And the reason it does end with Gidget is because after Gidget, there was lots of photography. But our book is mainly about things that have never been drawn or photographed before.
Is that the Santa Monica Pier?
No, Malibu Pier. That's where Gidget was from.
Oh, Malibu Pier. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get to the Malibu. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's it. Now, this is a little section called Water Women. And I used to be part owner in a very beautiful clothing company, clothing and surfboards, a surf company called Hawaiian Surf. And we had, I would have these ads, full page ads in Surfer Magazine, not this very one, but you'll see some in here. And I advertised the bathing suits. And we can move through these a little faster if you want to. And you see, and there's one of our Hawaiian Surf bathing suits right there. And these were hang tags and full page ads in Surfer Magazine. And our business got really big and it was really wonderful. There's another outfit. And I was the only artist doing this kind of thing. Beautiful women with our clothing.
She's one of the more majestic characters.
Yeah, thank you. And this one, the letter. Oh, that was right behind me. Yeah, I just sold that to Stephen Mushlak. And this one I just did for fun. But all the rest were, that's our suits there. And what happened was we got really popular. And we actually couldn't fulfill all the orders. We had so many of them.
Oh, my God. What a difficult position to be in.
It was, because it ruined us.
I know. It can't be that way, right?
Yeah, because we couldn't control the quality anymore. And then we had, these are my plein air paintings.
Okay.
I travel all over the world. I'll go back one. This is a little miniature temple in Greece, behind the island of Daskos, I think it was. I took my wife and I went on a 7-day voyage on a 64-foot sailing vessel, and they took us to all these remote islands. It was spectacular, probably one of the most wonderful things I've ever done, ever. And so here's, I plein air paint every day. There's a little watering trough in my mom's hometown in Campania, Italy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a watering trough for animals. That's St. Michael's in Monte Mario, just outside of Rome.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little church. We went there with the family. Oh, this is Morocco. Morocco's very tough to paint because you're weird. You stand out. Nobody does it but me.
No, that's not their culture.
Yeah, and everybody wears those things on their face to cover their face, and
yes.
And they're very aggressive about that painting there. They don't really care for it. Guys have pressed me up against the wall, wondering, what are you doing here?
Well, that's their culture, man.
Yeah. This is Bali. I pull over to paint this little temple I paint every day for pleasure.
Yes.
And they were training chickens for chicken fighting there. The guy's got his little roosters. And I was surprised at how they love these roosters. They pet them and kiss them and love them and feed them, and because they love chickens, but the chickens got to fight to the death sometime.
Eventually he has to die.
Yeah. Oh, this is my neighborhood in Hawaii. This is a house that I like there. It's not mine, but it's called the Stone House, and it's all made out of lava rocks.
Oh, cool.
It is. And that's a little surf shack beach by Kealakekua Bay. There's all kinds of shacks there, and that's one of them. There you go.
There you go. These are some of your accomplishments. Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, Star Trek, Planet of the Apes, Cinderella.
Oh, yeah, that's Cinderella with Whitney Houston. That was the most watched TV show of all time when they played it.
Really?
Yeah, Whitney Houston was the fairy godmother, and a girl named Brandy was...
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Then Magnum P.I., I worked on that for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And the rest is history.
All right. We did all those. We have a sponsor. And we're back to Ron.
Now, are we done?
Not yet, Ron. No, we're still letting people know who you are and what you do. And could you give us your website, please?
Oh, yes. It's my name, RONCROCI.com. Oh, that's my email address.
Okay.
My website is my name, RONCROCI.com.
All right. And you're on Facebook under Ronald Croce, right?
Yeah. And, email me. I want to sell you a book.
Okay. Very good. And that's $30, right?
Yeah.
All
Plus
right.
shipping.
Anything else you want to share with the listening audience today?
Well, I just love this interview, and I hope I've said the right thing. I kind of blurt out a few things now and again. I'm talking away, but Bill's been very wonderful, and congratulations, Bill Jordan. You've done so much for the artists on these sites. I appreciate that a lot.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks a lot. All right, so we can just say, again, thanks to your sponsor, Jerry's Autorama, right?
That's right.
And